Hello and welcome to everybody. Hope you're all well. Lovely to have you along with us. As you can see, in my living room there are new curtains. And let me tell you all about that. I mentioned it in the last video. I have new curtains there because that is what I found in a charity shop. And they were £10 for them. They were very heavy. And they're lined, so it's very good, and it's natural fabric as well. I'm not sure what. Bit like a calico and cotton, but that was a really good find. And I bought them, as I said to you in the other video, because I actually wanted to put them on the shelves that we had from a friend, which had created new space for food storage. So I was very happy with that because the curtains already had the eyes in them. They could easily go on the rod, and I needed the rings on that for the other pole for the shelves. And there are the curtains on the shelves. Not ideal because obviously it makes this corner of the living room much darker. So I wasn't quite happy with that, but they just fit. They're just the right length, and they're doing the job. And the shelves obviously nice height, got all the bits and bobs out of way of the little fingers. And there's the food storage. So as you can tell there, it's jam-packed already, but I still have some space and I need to move those bags over that way because I'm making some space for the fresh apples and pears that I'm going to store over there. I will show you that in a minute, what I'm going to do with them. But it just made ideal. I mean, this little cafe net rod I had for years and I stashed it away and kept it thinking I'll use it one day. Not really bothered, not had to since we've moved house. It's a bit bent and buckled, tarnished there. However, I just cleaned it off, stuck it on, tied it with some string to make sure it doesn't come off, and it fits perfectly. And these are the curtains that were up in the living room earlier, before Friday. And as you can see, I've got all my food storage stuffs in bits that I have dehydrated. Some courgettes dehydrated, beans grown from the garden. These are the courgettes I didn't grow. Mine failed this year. It was ridiculous. The slugs and the snails just had everything. Nothing survived. But I found them on a really good reduced bargain. I had a whole bag full for pennies and I grabbed them, dehydrated some. And next time I get some, I'll freeze some as well. I'll go in smoothies. But I still have lots of bits and bobs. Dried herbs. There's some more dried herbs here. This is my lemon balm that I dried last week and put into the jar. Lemon balm with a hint of catnip, because as I was pulling them off the stems, I caught this whiff and I thought, ooh, that's catnip. So there's at least one sprig of catnip in between all the lemon balm. Either way, it'll be good. It'll be a relaxing tea. So there's all the other bits and bobs that you can see. And then I've started to collect some of the mason and ball jars for dry food storage. I still have some bags there because I needed some more tubs. However, fortunately, I had a friend who very generously gave me 10 of these sweet tubs, the plastic sweet tubs that she'd found, and thought that somebody would be able to use it. Along comes Cindy and needs to use it. So she gave me 10 of these sweet tubs, the plastic ones, and they really are good for dry food storage. I mean, our dry food storage never really lasts that long. You know, we don't need to, it won't be in there for years and years. So that is perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be vacuum sealed or anything. It's dry food storage of stuff. So they're perfectly fine. The one, if you don't like the labels on them, one way to get rid of them more easily than just trying to get it off with hot water and soap is to rub oil, vegetable oil. Of course, I don't have very much oil anymore because we've stopped buying it really, to stop using it because you're going whole food plant-based. However, if you have some oil soaked into the label, and then when heated in the hot water, it will usually peel off, and then you use a very fine cream cleaner, a very fine one, not the usual cream cleaner for cleaning grout and stuff like that, but very fine one for ceramic hobs. It's an extremely fine one, so it's less likely to scratch the plastic, but it's really good. So warm soapy water with the very fine cream cleaner afterwards will help clean off the glue behind the label if the oil doesn't get it all off, but that really does help. And then also, because I said I had all those apples and pears that I still had to preserve and sort out, I did want to keep some of them fresh because some of them are still not perfectly ripe yet. So if they're perfect, without any blemishes, without any sign of disease or pest, then I can clean them with a little bit of vinegar water and make sure they're properly dry, wrap them up in tissue paper and store them in these tote crates, which my friend also gave me. These I'm going to clean out, if I can get it out, these little tote crates. I'll clean them out and I'm going to do something with them that will hopefully make them a little bit more appealing, even though they don't have to be on the shelves at the bottom over there because they won't be seen. However, I'd like them to be pretty, so I'm going to do something with them, and that's what I'll show you with the next make do and mend video. But for now, this will do, because I can wrap the fruits in tissue paper as long as they're in perfect condition and stack them, because once you put these on these totes, they will stack. So I can get 2 of them. Yeah, 2 high on those shelves. So I'll have at least some storage space for both 1 tray of pears and 1 tray of apples. And the rest I will either dry or turn into pie filling or sauce. Well, mostly puree, because I don't want to use them sugar anymore. So I'll be pureeing and freezing, or making pie filling and freezing, and drying some for dried fruit. So there you go. That is my food storage and self-reliance video for this week, being the 4th week of the month, the 4th Monday. So that is what I'm talking to you about today. So that you can find all sorts of ways of storing things. If you don't ask, you don't get. This stuff I had for free, the crates I had for free, the shelves I had for free, because I've known people who would like to get rid of stuff, but they like to share it. They don't want anything for it. They just want to get rid of stuff. And if we're helping them to clear out, and if we return the favor to somebody else, that's how it works with my group of friends, that people give us stuff for free, but then we help other people when they need it as well. So we don't just, it's not like paying somebody for what they give, but if we can, and when we do, when things do have a value, then we're happy to pay for stuff, because it's not always about getting everything for free, because we have to give value where it's needed. But where we have things that we want to just clear out and get rid of, that always helps. And then I know that if there's somebody else I come across who could do with something I have that I don't need, then I could just give it to them as well. It's a good way of helping to make sure that everybody has everything they need, and sharing. I think that's a better way for society, even though I know that we have to be willing to pay for things because bills have to be paid. Companies don't take bartering. But you know, if we get the things that we need from the people we know who are willing to share, and we share with others, then that's a good self-reliance principle, because it leaves up cash that's needed for the bills and things. And I think that's a good way to go. But like I said, if you don't ask, you don't get. Sometimes it's not difficult to find what you need. It's just sometimes a bit awkward as far as the logistics of things go. But it's not impossible to get what you need. And in one go, because like I said in the last video, in one go, because I had to make space for these shelves, the units that were there had to go upstairs, which meant I had to sort out, clear out and remove furniture upstairs. So that's another room that got sorted at the same time. And of course I was planning, I thought I'd need to go and buy curtains and rings for the rails there. Or I didn't think I was going to buy curtains, I thought I was going to use fabric I had upstairs. But when I walked into the charity shop, because I couldn't find rings, I thought, I'll go and have a look and see what they had in there. And then they had those curtains. And I thought, oh, that would be brilliant. I'll just need to sew them, cut them if they were too long, and sew them and put them up, because they wouldn't need rings because they had eyelets in them already. But when I came home and saw the length of them, I looked over at that window and I thought, hang on a minute. Why don't I just put those curtains there and put the curtains that were there on the shelves? Then I don't have to do any sewing whatsoever. It would save me a huge amount of time and effort, which is both very precious resources to me. And they just so happen to fit just nicely there. And I didn't have to do any cutting or sewing. I didn't have to buy any rings because there was already some on those. I just had to move them lower down on the big broad curtain tape. And there, problem solved. And the only money I spent was £10. I thought was a bargain for such beautiful, lovely curtains with such good quality fabric. That didn't need cutting either. I mean, I suppose they could, because if you can see at the bottom, they're a little bit long. You know, but for now, they're fine as they are. And at some point in the future, I can cut them a bit shorter and use that bit of fabric for cushion covers to blend in with the rest of the room. So I like it when things like that happen. Really handy. So there you go. And yet again, there's my blue thing. Yeah, there's my blue thing. My little... I don't think you can call it an obsession, because I don't even think about these things. They just happen. They come to me. So more blue. It's ridiculous. Look at the shelves. Blue, 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 blue. I'm always going on about blue. I'm going to have to do a competition one of these days for you to spot how many blue items you can see in the clip. It'd be ridiculous. But there you are. So on your self-reliance journey, whatever it may be, whether it is growing your own, whether it is storing food, whether it's just in the form of your own self-reliance in being able to solve problems and come up with solutions, I wish you all the luck, and not just luck, but all the energy and strength and the resolve that you need to do that, and the ability to figure it out. The more you do it, the more it happens. And you'll sometimes find that, as I did with these shelves, that one thing leads to another, as I said in the last video. And things just happen really nicely sometimes. They fall into place if you allow it to. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort and sometimes not. So folks, on this dreary, rainy, wet but beautiful autumn day, have a lovely one, and I shall see you again soon as well. Before I go, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment, whatever you'd like to do. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.